All right, thanks, guys. We're talking lithium today. We're happy to have United Lithium Corporation with us. We're going to focus on the EV sector once again. This company has been recently energized once again with the increased global demand for lithium for battery and battery production for the EV space. We're happy to have Michael Den, President and CEO of United Lithium, with us today. So happy to see you once again, Michael. Thanks for jumping on. Let's start maybe with a little bit of an overview. We'll jump into, as we said, the demand increase in demand here in the EV space. But why don't you give them an introduction first of United Lithium?
United Lithium's a CSE-listed company, OTCBB, trades Canada, Germany, US. We're primarily in Canada, Finland, and Sweden. Drilling currently in Sweden, and hopefully you'll see some big milestones from us this year.
Time to be involved in the space. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about the Finland and Sweden operations here, but the company focused on North America and Europe, and specifically the gigafactories in Europe and the increase in demand, which is astronomical. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what we've seen over the past few years when it comes to the increase in demand to kick things off?
It's amazing that I think there's over 40 gigafactories now in Europe, and there's just one mine. So there's almost no production available to the current marketplace. Everything has to come from Australia or from South America or from China. So the North American market's similar. There's a bit more production in North America, not as many gigafactories. But when you really look at the European market, they are way behind on the raw material supply and way ahead on the battery factories. And then at some point, these battery factories are going to be sitting without raw materials.
That's amazing. I mean, some of the numbers that we see on the graphic there, we'll go back to that in a second, but the increase and the projection specifically of the increase going out to, as we saw there on the graphic, 2050 is pretty staggering.
Yeah, we're looking at a couple blips in the next 10 years. We're likely going to be in a deficit for 3 or 4 years now, production potentially catching up, and then another deficit around 2030. We recently saw in Serbia that Rio Tinto had their licenses pulled for the Jadar deposit. That was going to be close to 30% of Europe's lithium production. That just got wiped out this year. So, whatever the projections were in December, they're messed up for at least the next 5-10 years.
Let's talk about the process involved here. For those maybe not familiar with, the extraction process of lithium, what is involved, and talk maybe a little bit about the timeline that it takes as well.
Sure. And the mining is quite simple for hard rock. You think of it maybe like a limestone quarry. You drill, you blast, you crush, and that's how you get the rock out of the ground. It's not an underground situation. It's a open pit situation in our case. On the processing side, you can do a little bit of pre-concentration with dense media separation or optical sorting, and then we use another process called flotation. And if you're a miner, typically that's where you stop. If you want to go the next step, then you become a chemical maker and you're making lithium hydroxide or lithium carbonate.
We've seen and we've heard and seen a number of automakers over the past couple of years talking about projections of turning their entire fleets into electric vehicles before 2030, 2035, 2040. When it comes to North America specifically, where do we see this market going and the demand going for this product?
Well, anywhere where you have a major center with millions of people and you're not driving 400 kilometers a day, like long-haul truckers, I don't see a practical application to electrification of vehicles unless you're going to do a hydrogen or ammonia fuel cell. But for commuters going into Toronto from the suburbs, going into New York City from the burbs, anyone in California pretty well now, electrification works where you have ability to charge. And as long as the electric grid can keep up with the demand for electric vehicles, we'll probably do okay in North America. Our grid's relatively stable, where we've got the national grids put in. You see little places like Texas where you have sort of a different grid system. They're going to have to fix the grid to support these EV demand if it grows quickly there.
Yeah, we saw that with that freeze that they had going back a couple of years, or maybe it was last year, in fact, where that snow came in.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And the power was out for a week or so. But I mean, it's an exciting time to be in this space, as we said. What can investors expect from the company going forward here?
Well, we're hoping to have a resource complete for Sweden by the end of the year. We expect to have a pilot plant up and running middle of the year, and testing and accepting deposits, our own projects, but other people's, just to show how robust our concentrated making ability will be. And then from there, we will continue to do hopefully a partnership with a chemical company. We have the ability now to make lithium carbonate. We demonstrated that last year, and by the end of this month, we should be able to demonstrate that we can produce a high purity lithium hydroxide. That's not really our strength. We've got the ability, we have the technology, but I think we're better off partnering on that part of the process with a BASF or a LG Chem or some other third-party chemical company, where you actually can get the upside from their skill set. Our skill set is really on the mining and concentrate side. And if you've seen the failures in the lithium industry in North America, they didn't fail on the mining, they failed on the chemical production.
Michael Denz, President and CEO of United Lithium. We appreciate you doing this today, Michael. Best of luck, and we look forward to an update in the future.
Thanks very much.
Have a great day. There we go. Check them out, guys. The ticker's at the bottom of the screen there.